Your brain is addicted to mediocrity.
Okay.
The enemy you know is better than the enemy you don't. That could be why you find it so difficult to get out of that rut. Our brains love what is reliable and predictable. That's why you pick up habits. Whether good or bad, doesn't matter. It's just how our brain works. And what's crazy is that this even applies to when we're in a rut.
Huh?
Because that same craving for reliability and predictability still is satiated. Crazy, I know. But get this, what's even crazier is that this may explain why you feel so anxious. Take a second, think about it. There exists right now a tension between your mind's desire to get out of this rut and your brain's craving the dopamine that the rut provides. Talk about being between a rock and a hard place. So, I've probably painted a pretty familiar picture. Many of us just sit in this anxiety between where we are and where we want to be. Meanwhile, our brains are getting high off that dopamine hit every time it sees what it expects to see. How can we change what our brain expects to see? We'll dive into that next. You've probably given it the old college try, resolving this tension, of where you are and where you want to be. How did that work out for you? Like, genuinely, how did that go? Let me know down in the comments. And while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and introduce a potential solution that also aligns with our conversation on momentum. Introducing small novelties. This is just one solution that I could introduce to you. It's something that's small but significant. It's a change into your daily pattern or habit that will force your brain into the active processing rather than passive repetition. All the while, you're still getting the same dopamine hit from accomplishing what you needed to get done that day. Introducing a small but significant novelty into your daily patterns or habits will force your brain into active processing rather than passive repetition. But what about the dopamine? Well, there's someone who knows a thing or two about psychology. And don't worry, your brain is still getting that dopamine hit from accomplishing the task you needed to get done that day, anyways.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
If this is the first video of mine that you're watching, welcome. My name is Obadiah Talks, and this is my series on momentum. And since you're new here, I'd encourage you to check out the other videos I've made on this topic as well. And don't worry, you don't have to watch them in order to understand what we're talking about today, but if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and sweet talk that like button, and that lets me know that I can make more. Either way, thanks for being here. Now, let's learn how to solve that tension by visiting a dear friend of the channel, Bob. Now, what we know about Bob is that he's in a rut, and we have identified 4 areas in his life where he could use some momentum: his physical fitness, his finances, his job, and his sleep. First up, physical fitness. Bob could eat a meal with his non-dominant hand. He still accomplishes the goal of eating, but he is required to be more present with his food, and he is forced to slow down and think about the action of eating. There's a ton of research out there behind how quickly someone eats and how satiated they feel during a meal. Not to mention, he's thinking about food and is probably going to enjoy it more because he's slowing down and thinking about it. Next up, his job. So during Bob's commute, he could do something as simple as driving a different route to work. But if he works remotely, he could work out of a coffee shop or maybe his local library. If that's not an option, he could simply work from a different room in his house or sitting in a different area. And if he's living that bachelor pad lifestyle, he could change the lighting in his house during his work hours to introduce that novelty. Up next, finances. Something that Bob can do that's fairly simple is pull out some of his money and use cash instead of digital currency. He can withdraw his discretionary income, so think of money for groceries, dining, going out for fun, etc., and he puts that money into a labeled envelope that has the same name. And whenever he makes a purchase, he has to pull the money out, count the bills, and watch the pile shrink instead of just watching an imaginary number on screen change. The same money is going out, but he now has a novel and tactile way of seeing the money decrease. Lastly, his sleep. And this one's pretty pretty funny. He could just sleep with his head at the foot of the bed, although he might want to change his sheets first. Don't want to be sleeping where the dogs lie, know what I mean? All jokes aside, introducing this novelty causes our brains to actively process the activity. And remember, dopamine is released because we are still accomplishing the goal, but this time with something new. Our brains will start to yearn for novelty and change instead of seeking out repetition and monotony. And remember, it's okay to fail if you're trying this for the first time, because failure is just rehearsing doubt until it feels like the responsible thing to do. And your brain doesn't like to move toward what's true, it moves towards what it expects. And if you expect monotony, then that's what you'll move forward to. But if your brain expects novelty, you'll seek out change and new things and growth and learning and, you guessed it, becoming. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to get the conversation going, go ahead and head down to the comments and I'll meet you down there. And if you'd like to see more, hit that subscribe button. This has been Obadiah Talks, and I'll see you in the next video.